I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 21st, 2021 City Council meeting to order. Janice, could you please call roll?
Councilmember Epperson.
Here.
Councilmember Pomondon.
Present.
Councilmember Bratton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Atland.
Here.
And Mayor Rhodes.
Here. I'd like to jump to the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to move on to the approval of agenda. I'd like someone to make a motion that we move closed session to the end and add one more quick presentation under presentation and announcements.
So moved. Second.
Got a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What are you adding?
What's the presentation?
Oh, I've got some money for the police department. I could move it to the end and put it at council comments and committee report.
Is it a personal donation from you to the police
No,
department?
it's a company in town.
Can you tell us who it is?
It's Twin Pines, which is a company that I now manage.
Okay. And
We can do it at the end if
it
you want.
requires a fourth vote to add an item to the agenda that is a non-emergency item. So we need to have a roll call vote for that.
For that particular item.
If you guys are wanting to add it, because it's not an emergency, it has nothing to do with health, safety, welfare of the community, it just came to the attention of the council after the posting of the
We're
agenda.
using a microphone.
It came to the attention of the council after the posting of the agenda and requires action prior to the next council meeting and requires a 4/5 vote, so we need a roll call vote if that is the council's pleasure to add that as an additional presentation.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we add the item. Second.
We have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Got a roll call.
Oh, roll call vote. Janice, can you please call roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Epperson.
Aye.
Councilmember Pomondon.
Aye.
Councilmember Bratton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atland.
Aye.
And Mayor Rhodes.
Aye. Okay. With that said, we'll move on to presentations and announcements. The first one is donation to City of Ione Dog Park at Howard Park, Ione Business and Community Association.
Good evening, Dolores Larigan, Treasurer, Ione Business Association. We would like to donate $100 to the new small dog park that you're planning on building
Thank you,
Thank
George.
Very much.
from the Ione Business Association.
Thank them for us.
Who do I give this to?
Michael.
You want it?
I can deposit the money.
Are you sure I can give this to him?
Yes, I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, IBCA.
Okay, the second one was the one I added. Most of you may know or may not know, a company's moved in the outskirts of Ione. They started a very large water processing and mineral extraction process. And they've been recruiting me for a number of weeks, and they finally made a offer I couldn't refuse. So with that said, I'm managing the company. They want to get involved in the community. They wanted to start donating and helping to the community. At that exact same time they hired me, Allison called and said she was short of sand. So they donated probably $1,000 worth of sand. Rick Kreth donated all the trucking to take care of the arena sand. That was taken care of, and they also wanted to do something for the police department. So they wrote a check for $2,000 to the Ione cops and kids. So I will give that. You want that, John, or?
I'll take it. I love to take money. I will safely deposit it to the city's account.
Cops count.
Yes, top to figure.
Okay, we will move on to public comment. This is for any items not on the agenda. Do we have anyone with any items not on the agenda?
There should be one for each of you.
Do you
They
have
are
some?
copies of the,
Do you have some for the public as well?
Huh?
Do you have some for the public as well?
No, afraid I don't. But either way,
There's only 2 here, Jim.
no, there should be 2 packs of 5 each.
Okay.
And, you know, time.
Point of order here, please.
Pardon?
Calling a point of order for the attorney. So in the past, we were told that every council person, the city clerk, the city manager, and some members of the public would have to be given stuff that's presented to the council. So, I mean, I'm happy to accept it, but it's really not fair when someone is discussing something that nobody has any idea what it is. So what is the protocol for that, please?
This is a public comment. He's got 3 minutes to say what he wants to say. Technically, if you're bringing documents for the council to review, you should have a copy for all of the council, the city manager, the city attorney, and the clerk, so that they can put it on the website as a received public comment. You should also bring copies for the public to review.
That's what I thought.
Well, that may be your policy, but at this point, I'm complying with the Brown Act, trying to get this on the public record, and my understanding is it's 4 minutes. But anyway, let's get to it. It was a letter to Mr. Rock from Ms. Gedney from ARSA. Basically, we are sending you this letter now to confirm ARSA's right to dispose of secondarily treated wastewater through the lower Henderson-Preston system. Next paragraph highlighted for you. As you are aware, the 07 agreement provides that ARSA may discharge and the city must accept annually up to 650 acre-feet of secondary effluent or disposal. CDCR may, solely through ARSA's existing outfall system and in strict compliance with existing wastewater permit, discharge up to 350 acre-feet of secondary effluent annually counted against ARSA's disposal right. Because CDCR's rights are derivative of ARSA's existing rights, the city must prioritize ARSA's discharges over those of CDCR's. The 07 agreement remains in effect until 2037. Second paragraph, second of the second page. At the time of the city's 2017 letter, however, the provisions of adequate reclaimed water for the Castle Oaks Golf Course had not been resolved. In fact, that issue remains unresolved today. The Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board has identified concerns with the quality of Mule Creek State Prison's wastewater, including the presence of volatile organic compounds in the prison's discharge. The regional board first identified these issues in 2018, and today the legality and safety of the prison's wastewater remains unresolved. Bottom of that same paragraph. This assessment could result in final determination that CDCR cannot discharge to the city. For these reasons, the city and CDCR have not demonstrated that adequate reclaimed water is available for the golf course. Moreover, CDCR is not a permitted discharger under the city and ARSA's shared permits. No reports or evaluations were in place as of the city's 2017 letter, and to our knowledge, none are in place now. The 2007 agreement thus remains in full effect until 2037, and ARSA is legally permitted and will continue to discharge to the lower Henderson-Preston system. Now, as a silver lining on what got said, basically you go to Mr. Covello's to save time, and again, this is solely with getting it on the public record. You go on the second page, the bottom of the paragraph, it's been highlighted for you. And again, this is to Mr. Covello. Any actions taken by CDCR to prevent, reduce, interrupt, interfere with, or circumvent ARSA's rights to discharge through the Henderson-Preston system would be inconsistent with CDCR's contractual obligations to ARSA under the lease. In the event of any actual or threatened breach of the law of the lease agreement, ARSA may seek equitable injunctive relief from a court of competent jurisdiction. So the silver lining is she's not threatening to sue you, just the state, but I believe they are asserting their rights. Answer any questions? While we're at it, I'd like a copy of that policy that you just had in writing somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any other public comment? Not on the agenda?
I'd like to say, Mr. Scully, what he just brought up, that was brought before I think the date's the 3rd. That should have been in the last meeting. If we had written communications, you wouldn't be doing this, the people would already know it. How come there's supposed to be transparency and there ain't no transparency in this, to me? It should have been known, and we should have written communication where this stuff comes out. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, for the record, this item will be a closed session item. That is why we're not discussing it in the open session. This is a closed session item later this evening.
How come you don't get a copy of the letter, though? That's public record.
Any other public comment? Not on the agenda?
Very quick. I'm here on behalf of 34 people who said they wanted someone to stand up and say, thank you very much to Mayor Rhodes for his year of service. They really appreciate what he did for them individually and what the mayor has done for the city in general. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Greg. Any other items not on agenda? We'll close public comment. Move on to consent calendar. We have none. Public hearing, we have none. Regular agenda. Adoption of resolution number 2021-33, declaring the purpose and need for a rural exemption of the organic waste collection requirements specified in the SB 1383 regulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Under state law, SB 1383, the state law requires that rural communities such as Ione must request through a resolution adopted by the City Council essentially a waiver of the rules for how organic waste is to be collected in the state and urban areas. So tonight we are asking the council to, in fact, request such an exemption from the state law. We are defined as a rural jurisdiction under the Public Resources Code, section 4269.8, and we must ask for this exemption. If we do not, then we would have to comply with the entire organic waste law that the state has for non-rural counties, which is a fairly significant process and a very large investment in, and would change the way in which the waste hauler would have to collect organic waste from mostly commercial businesses. So this is essentially a requirement in order to receive the exemption. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Where did you get this draft letter, or was this, I saw something about Plymouth. Is Plymouth the one that came up with this, and we're just kind of piggybacking on Plymouth?
Yeah, there's a number of communities that have done this, but yes.
The one question I had, because I was on this committee, and the one thing that really scares me on it, it says the city would still have to adopt another requirement, and related to collection services, the city would need to establish an edible food recovery program to encourage certain businesses that handle food to donate edible food to organizations. So when we were talking about it, like right now, a store, if they have outdated canned food, they can go to the food bank or whatever. But a lot of this discussion was if a restaurant had a leftover steak or something, they could feed that to the homeless or something. And the FDA is the ones that are gonna come down on this, so, because they ain't gonna let this happen. I'm a food handler, so I know that, and I'm an FDA-approved facility. So that language in there kind of scares me a bit, that we would still need to establish some sort of edible food recovery system. So that's my only concern in that, but I agree, we need to do this.
Okay. I believe the state may be trying to do a statewide recovery program as well to address the legal issues for donating food. In the state of California right now, you can donate food without the risk of being sued, but there are certain ways in which you have to do that in order for it to be protected by law.
Any other technical questions? All right, we'll open up to public comment. Any public comment on this? Anyone on Zoom? No? Oh, okay, we'll close public comment. We get a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the rural exemption from the organic waste collection requirements.
Second. Okay, we have a first and a second. Any other discussion?
So is this basically like a tabletop thing where they just receive our exemption request and they just process, or is there more than that? Do they have, is there any follow-up behind that, or just, you just submit it and they just check it off? Or-
Yes.
And it
Yeah,
would,
but, no, I was just gonna say the investment to do something like this, never mind all the critters it attract, it's a huge problem.
Then I think we gotta do this like every couple of years until it forces eventually anyhow, right?
well, it looks like it's good, our exemption, that's my
5 years.
question, is it good through 2026?
I believe it, so it's like 5 years or something, I think,
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
unless we get more people, then that changes it.
Well, unless we fell out of the rural jurisdiction, I don't think we will for a long time.
Right.
Has ACES already filed similar paperwork?
I do not know, I need to check that.
Yeah, Molinelli's been fighting this for a long
I
time.
know, yeah.
And the other municipalities in the county are doing the same, including the county?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the next item, selection of mayor and vice mayor for 2022. Is there anything else want to say here?
I'll nominate Dan Epperson for mayor.
I'll second it.
Do we have to, okay, any technical questions? Do we run it the same way,
You don't have to
Sophie?
be mayor.
No.
Okay, so we have to open for
There's been a
public comment? or
nomination, if you
No
accept the
public comment,
nomination, you don't have to.
Okay.
But you can certainly do so if you choose to.
or? Okay, so we have Dan as mayor. Everyone approve of that?
Roll call.
It does require an
Roll call.
actual motion.
Can you do a roll call, please, Dennis?
Councilmember Epperson,
Aye.
Councilmember Comandon,
Aye.
Councilmember Ratton,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atlan,
Aye.
and Mayor Rhodes.
Aye. Now, do you want to sit here and pick a vice mayor?
I can do that from here.
Okay.
So any nomination for vice mayor?
Rodney, you want to dabble in it?
I'll nominate Rodney.
We'll second that.
Put it to a vote? Yes.
Councilmember Epperson,
Aye.
Councilmember Comandon,
Aye.
Councilmember Ratton,
Aye.
Mayor Atlan,
Former Vice Mayor Atlan.
Last vice mayor.
My last decision is Vice Mayor, aye.
Mayor Rhodes.
Past mayor, aye.
Mayor Aaron was mayor. All right, thank you. Very good, guys. Congratulations, Robbie.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, everyone. So moving on, reports, item K, reports and communications from city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Epperson and City Council. I do have a few items under City Manager reports. Wanted to inform the City Council that I signed escrow papers today and we paid Mr. Wayne Moore $297,000 for the property next door. The city now owns 17 East Main Street, which has 2,300 square feet on 2 separate stories. And through the grace of ARPA money, we'll be able to remodel and upgrade and make it ready for government service over the next 6 to 8 months or so, however long it takes. So we do take possession tomorrow, and the city will own the property next door. As you are well aware, we have brand new carpeting in this room and throughout the rest of City Hall. The section up front will be completed next week when there's less foot traffic in City Hall. And again, that was also funded through the ARPA money, which is all related to federal COVID relief money that was given to every single city and county in the United States in the trillions of dollars. We got our little piece of that pie. Again, a reminder that there's a town hall meeting on January 10th. It's a Monday night at 6 p.m. at Evelyn Bishop Hall. On that agenda will be discussion of the 80-acre parcel known as the Preston Youth Facility, which the state has for sale. And the state is looking for development ideas, essentially to redevelop that property, and we would like the public's input on what they would like to see on that property. There'll also be an opportunity to talk about the city's services that are provided and get input from the community on how well we're doing providing current services, and talk about your top priorities for the upcoming year. And then finally, a public comment period where we will actually have a dialogue with the public and try to answer your questions instead of just giving you 4 minutes under a rigid business type environment that we normally have at a city council meeting. So we're looking forward to hearing from the public and sharing information with you on January 10th. The city is in the process of hiring a maintenance worker. We made an offer to a gentleman. He accepted the offer. We're going through the normal hiring process, physical and drug testing and all the other good stuff to get him on board. We interviewed the building inspector, code enforcement position today, and the interview panel made a determination for a top candidate, and we made that offer today. And so we're excited about that. So those 2 positions appear to be filled, or will be filled very, very soon. I'll talk to the council later in closed session about the other recruitment that we did, which we were not successful in filling at this time. So we're making progress on the new positions. We did also make the administrative assistant position, which had been part-time, is now full-time and permanent, and that offer was made to Andrea Bonneman, and she accepted. So all of that is helping us to deliver services and get up to a full staffing level. And again, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Council comments, committee reports, featured items.
I got a committee report from LAFCO last Thursday. There's going to be a new executive officer as Roseanne is retiring, so we already hired the new person, and her name is Chris, can't remember her last name. And that's about it.
Very good. Councilman Rose?
Had no committee reports, but I do have a comment. About 2 years ago, I went to a bunch of OES meetings where we proved that Bidwell Bishop Hall was a OES building, and the county and their COVID money was nice enough to give us that money for the generator, which I thought was a waste. But anyhow, last week there was a blood drive out there, and they had to cancel it because the power went out and the generator didn't kick on. We paid $100,000 for that, and the thing didn't turn on, and I want to know why. I think I know why, but that is totally unacceptable. The whole reason for that, and hopefully the COVID patrol don't find out about that, because the whole purpose of that generator is to run when the power went out. So, and then I don't know if Dolores knows about it, so I talked to Christy about it, and
It was a terrible day.
yes, and there's absolutely no reason that generator should have started up. So I would like to have someone look into that, please.
Councilman Bratton?
I have an agenda item. I would like to get back on the agenda discussion about solar and expanding our solar. Since we bought the building, is that a possibility of putting some solar on the roof over there? And expanding out to some of the fire departments as well.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Gee, thanks. No, sir.
Very good.
I got one more thing, being Diane brought up a good topic. Brock, I know you've been talking with the owner of the solar field. Maybe you could have him give us an update on what has been the history of that since it's been going on, and maybe, what's it called, the true up, see how that went, because it's been in there, I believe, a year, maybe not quite a year.
It's actually, I think, 2 years.
In 2 years?
Yeah, I think last year was the anniversary, wasn't it?
I don't think it's been
That's
two.
Well, it was completed.
Anyhow, we discussed this a little bit the other day, and I know you talked to her, so maybe you can give us an update next meeting or something.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think what we need to do is the staff needs to present a summary report of that whole project on the January, the 18th? The fourth Tuesday of January. The 18th?
Yes.
Okay, so on the 18th, we will have a full report on that program.
Will it include our savings, a discussion of what savings we've had?
Yeah, it'll be a discussion of the full cost of the initial capital investment and the true-up, which is the money we get back for actually generating solar power. We'll have a full report.
Anything else? I have nothing to report at this time. At this time, we will now, and we have a closed session coming up. We'll comment on that momentarily here. Public's closed session includes these 4 items: public employee performance review, interim city manager pursuant to government code 54957.9. Item 2, public employee performance review, city attorney pursuant to government code 54957.9. Item 3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 of subdivision D of section 54956.9, 5 cases. And item 4, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, paragraph 1 of subdivision D of section 54956.9, Vidic versus City of Ione, et al. Amarillo Superior Court case number 2021-CV-12146. At this time, we'll have public comment. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. At this time, we'll now proceed to closed session. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back after.
It may be a while. Well, Merry Christmas if you're not here when we get back.
I'm gonna go get a beer.
No, you can get more than one beer, it's gonna be a couple of hours.
Daddy,